Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting breaches from this last week. I'm Steve.
I'm Colin.
And Frank.
Well, this week we have communications, government, healthcare, financial services, and manufacturing. When attackers target the organizations that everyone else depends on. Starting off strong with story number 1, RingCentral, here in the United States, which is a cloud communications provider. And it looks like they received a call from ShinyHunters. That's right. ShinyHunters is claiming RingCentral. If you're not aware, RingCentral is a VoIP provider, one of the most popular ones. I've certainly used them before, and they showed up where they don't want to be in RingCentral ShinyHunters post. Cloud communication providers have become a foundational business infrastructure supporting voice, messaging, video, meetings, and customer communications for thousands of organizations every day. What do you think about that?
Might not sound like much right out of the gate when you're thinking of voice communications, but in the age of AI, voice to text, very, very common throughout communications with AI, which is very commonly used in the business world, right? So you can only imagine the kind of information that a company like that might store. I'm sure there might be some communication history, things of that nature that could be quite simple. So this kind of breach could definitely impact quite a few organizations and users, and something that ShinyHunters definitely knew what they were doing in this case. And on that note, ShinyHunters has had one of its slowest months so far. I'm curious to see what happens the rest of the year from them.
What gets my attention about RingCentral is how much the value of a company like this has changed. The communications platform isn't just carrying conversations anymore. It can contain meeting history, messages, contacts, integrations, recordings, basically a map of how a company communicates. So even without knowing what ShinyHunters actually got here, the target itself makes sense. 30 years ago, you tapped the phone. Today, you go after the platform that knows who everyone is talking to.
Moving right along to Greene County government here in the United States. This is Greene County, Georgia, local government, and Inc. checked in. Inc. going after a local municipal government, probably going after those tax records, court systems, public safety, and citizen service, making them attractive targets for ransomware groups seeking operational leverage. So we're seeing a local government today from Inc.
Well, I think local governments have a different problem than most companies. They can't really choose not to keep all data. And the business can decide that some information isn't useful anymore. The governments accumulate property records, court records, employee records, tax information, sometimes for decades. So even a relatively small county can have a surprisingly deep archive. You don't need to attack the federal government when 30 years of somebody's life might be sitting in a county database.
I'm starting to wonder if Inc. Ransomware has some sort of internal monthly quota, because every month they're right around 35 to 40 breaches or successful attacks. So pretty consistent there. But in this case, yes, federal governments or state governments, county level governments, whatever. We're seeing more and more targeting against these kind of companies. But whenever we have, an industry, generally speaking, that's kind of been underfunded, and that's been more of a problem as of late, you can probably imagine that companies in this position or organizations in this position might have some lighter cybersecurity budgets have in years past, and that could be something that leads to more and more attacks like this.
Next up, we've got Athenia Healthcare. I'm going to go with Athenia. They are a healthcare provider here in the United States. Looks like they actually focus on underprivileged. So healthcare provider helping out the underprivileged, and Termite had an issue with that. That is right. Termite decided that they too wanted some healthcare. Healthcare providers remain frequent ransomware targets because they combine sensitive patient information with operational environments that simply cannot afford prolonged downtime.
Yeah, this hospital, I'm sure is used to dealing with all kinds of different bacterial or viral bugs, but not the bug termite in this case. But as always, anytime healthcare gets hit, especially operational healthcare facilities, right? Patients can be impacted, patient care can be impacted, and always so sensitive PHI can be compromised, which makes them, as we mentioned, a heavy target. And Termite cashed in on this one.
Healthcare data is also weird because it doesn't expire the way other stolen information does. I can cancel a credit card or change the password. I can't change my medical history, my date of birth, or who I am. So when we talk about healthcare breaches, the value isn't only what criminals can do with that information today. Some of that data can still be useful 5 or 10 years from now. That's a very different kind of breach.
Now, I am convinced that hackers actually are going alphabetically today because now we have Affinity Capital. Affinity Capital, financial services firm out of the United States, not to be confused with Athenia, and Qilin broke in, and they claim some of that capital for their own. That's right. Qilin Financial services firms remain prime ransomware targets because they aggregate client assets, financial records, and highly sensitive investment information. Fun-looking website, not a fun event.
Sounds like they got together and decided who to breach. With financial firms, I think people immediately think about money, but sometimes the information around the money is more interesting than the money itself. An investment firm can know what clients own, their worth, where their money is moving, who they're doing business with, and maybe even what they're planning to buy or sell. And that's intelligence, not just financial data. And for an attacker, knowing where the money is sometimes can be almost as valuable as stealing it.
Yeah, hopefully the customers of Affinity did not get contacted to help put some further investment in to help pay this ransomware. But yeah, anytime a wealth management, investment, any financial company gets hit, there's one of the most sensitive things potentially impacted, which is people's finances. And, of course, there's the whole reputation side of things, right? When you are managing money for high net worth individuals, you definitely want to make sure that your brand reputation is strong. And this is something that can impact that. So you can see why Qilin would target a company like this. And yeah, more and more focus on financial companies, and hopefully again that these customers are not too impacted.
Finally, today, this one's a little bit different. Warwick Fabrics, which is a textile manufacturer out of New Zealand, and they were attacked by Keros. So, got some new names today. This is not a US-based event. Keros claiming Warwick's Fabrics. Warwick Fabrics, I wouldn't expect them to be a prime target, but they are manufacturing. We all know that manufacturing is in the crosshairs of ransomware because they connect suppliers, production facilities, distributors, and customers across international supply chains. And if you can shut down the supply chain, you can extract real money value out of the business for a ransom.
Yeah, I know I keep saying we're seeing more and more attacks in certain industries, but really we're seeing a significant amount of more ransomware attacks in general across the board. But manufacturing is definitely one of those industries that we're seeing more of an acceleration in. I think there's a big reason why, and that's where manufacturing sits within the supply chain, pressure to pay, and historically less cybersecurity budget from an IT perspective. Maybe they're focused more on OT than other industries.
This is actually my favorite example today because nobody wakes up thinking the textile industry is a cybersecurity battlefield. Modern manufacturing companies aren't just factories anymore. They have ERP systems, logistics platforms, suppliers, customer databases, remote access, cloud services, all the same digital infrastructure as everybody else. And we have digitalized almost every boring business on earth, which means we also gave cybercriminals millions of new businesses to attack. So I guess even the couch is online now.
Well, today we looked at 5 completely different industries. With ransomware, it's all about finding pressure points that create the greatest downstream impact. Patch your systems, and remember, attackers aren't looking for the loudest target. They're looking for organizations whose disruption echoes through everyone else's business. Until next time.